fellow babies. This is John, and this is my friend Maggie. And this is the Babbling Streams of Consciousness. And we're here to talk about red flags of narcissism. Mm-hmm. So Maggie,
yeah,
what are your red flags for a narcissist?
Red flags that I look for include love bombing, just like, giving too many gifts, things like that, not respecting boundaries, not taking no for an answer. Like, if they want your time, they will find a way to make you give them your time.
Yeah. When I think of love bombing, I always think about it like, like if I was love bombing you, I'd be like, hey, Maggie, you're super hot. What's your name? What's your sign? What's the that telephone line, right? I'm going to say all these things, but I'm also going to say, I have this cosmic connection with you. I think I have loved you all my life.
Something a little extra added on.
Yeah, it's this cosmic connection that you were meant to be with me, and we have this thing, and we have to do.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. To me, that's the classic love bomb.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. See, in my experience, it's usually been like luxurious gifts, things like that, just overpaying for things that really aren't necessary, and then wondering why I'm not happy with it. Because as someone who doesn't see the superficial value in things, or like, I guess, the monetary value in something I've worked hard for, I see it for something I worked hard for. I don't see it like that.
Yeah.
And so for other people that are narcissists and do see things that way, it's like they see things from a materialistic perspective. And they're like, oh, well, I have to have the nicest things. I have to have this. I have to have that. Whatever the case may be.
Right. Oh, I just want to make you, everybody out there, know that we are talking about a characteristic that is narcissism, not narcissistic personality disorder, totally different. Well, it's different because it's a diagnosis, right? When we're not talking about the diagnosis, we're not diagnosing anybody. We're talking about a characteristic of a person. Mm-hmm. So, that other thing you said after love bombing, which can last for a long time, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, or it can be very short before they blow their top and have to show you who they really are.
Oh, and then the mask comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to detect these characteristics? Why do you think?
Because they seem charming at first. They seem like...
Yeah.
They seem very kind, very generous maybe at first.
Yeah.
And then that's what tricks you. And then they have you under their spell, and then it's too late. You can't get away because... once you get so far into it, and this is just my experience too, they cut you off from everyone that loves you. They cut off your resources, they cut off your friends, and they make it look like you made a conscious decision to do that.
Right.
But you didn't. You were doing what you thought was right at the time, and luckily the people that love you stick by you though. Yeah,
so you just talked about two things that are pretty common characteristics of a narcissist: lying and gaslighting. Mm-hmm. Man, they can lie.
They
lie. Dude, they'll tell you anything. They create this whole universe. It is all a lie.
It's a facade that they have to put on.
Yeah, because they hate themselves so much.
And they want to, they don't want you to see that.
Right. And they want to impress you. I want to impress you, Maggie. I got this life. I got a car. I got a house. I got a boat.
So do I. Yeah, very nice.
I got a frog. It's a nice frog. Anyway. And a frog's a metaphor for what happens to you when you're getting love bombed. Mm-hmm. You're the frog in the pot and it's boiling, but you never jump out because...
you're dying already.
You're dying.
Yeah.
And it's so great. The lies are so delicious. You just got to have more of them.
It's like you almost get a high from that person, but then you start, okay, so when you finally do rebuild your resources, get your friends back, all of that, you have to forget the life that they showed you. You have to forget what they tried to paint for you and get back to your own reality. And that's been the hardest part for me throughout my life, is like, okay, this happened. And yes, it was a big portion of time, but then you bring it back to your own reality, and you have to recognize that you were never who they thought you were either. Because they'll tell you that, oh, you're stupid, you're ugly, you don't know anything, to make you think that you need them.
Right. That's the gaslighting. That's very, I wanted to say that's the nefarious part, but it's not the only one for sure.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it goes. When you start questioning yourself and your own reality, because all of a sudden you've noticed that the facade is superficial. It's not deep. It's not real.
There's no depth. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, yo, what's about this? And they're like, oh, I never said that.
And they'll make you think you're crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of it.
That's the worst part.
I never said that. I've never done that. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's like the Shaggy
yeah.
song. I caught you red-handed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bumping on the bathroom floor. It wasn't me.
Oh, was it not
Wasn't
you?
me. It wasn't me. That was.
I thought I saw you do that.
It wasn't me. It was somebody looked just like me. It was my evil twin. Oh, you're crazy. So you know I have an evil twin, don't you?
No, I haven't met him.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And now you're crazy, even though you witnessed me.
And then as someone
on the
who's gone
bathroom
through
floor.
that, it's like you almost start to believe it, and then you have to retrain your brain to get out of those things
Right.
and back to who you are.
Right. It takes a long time. I know, in my experience, 10 years. It took me 10 years
Yeah.
to figure out that I wasn't crazy.
Right.
You know, it took a long time. And a lot of money in therapy and all of that, right?
Oh, we love therapy.
Yeah, therapy is good. So what can we do? I mean, we're in a bar. We're two attractive people looking for attractive people. How do we keep ourselves safe from
Good
that
question.
velvet tongued?
No, that's a good
Narcissist.
question. Yeah, because and this is a flaw. It can be a character flaw at times. I always see the good in people first. That's my instinct, is to see the good. It's just the way I am. And so that's how it makes me seem naive or gullible at times. And so you really have to sit back and study people and get to know them before you just jump into a relationship with them. And I'm still learning this. I'm only 25, but yeah, that's just something that some people need a couple lessons to learn.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of things that you can do. Right. Well, I mean, it's difficult. Like we said, some of the things that they're going to do is they're going to be, well, I guess we should talk about the characteristics of a narcissist in the first place. About, you know, in my opinion, one of the key characteristics is lack of empathy. Right. They
do things with no remorse. There's
Right.
no sense of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
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 There's no learning.
No. Those apologies are, they're thin and manipulative because they don't really mean it.
The apology is more like a bait to keep you hooked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry you feel that way, kind of
Right.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Bad.
I'm sorry that you are having a bad day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the worst. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you made me feel this way, and this is why we're having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You ran into my car. I don't know what you're talking about. I
Right,
feel
right.
bad because you ran into my car. I'm just saying. Right? And I'm sorry you feel that way about me running into your car. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That was my fault, and I did a bad thing.
Why was your car there? That's why I ran into it. Maggie, you
Yeah,
put your car there.
I should have parked there.
Man.
My bad.
This isn't funny though. I mean, this is all real
It's
shit.
serious. Yeah,
It's serious
people
shit.
do that.
Okay. Yes. And you know, there's this thing called cognitive empathy.
Dissonance? Oh, cognitive.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah.
But cognitive empathy. Well, maybe we'll get to the dissonance.
Okay,
in a
yeah, we
little
can
bit.
talk about that.
Cognitive empathy is what I call the enlightened narcissist. This is a narcissist who knows that he's a narcissist
And
or
so
knows what
they'll-
narcissism is. And so he's adding that he's super dangerous because this person knows the game.
They'll verbalize what they think you want to
Yeah,
hear,
right.
whether or not they
Right.
actually feel that.
Right, and they don't feel it. They're just telling you, Oh, yes, I see you're sad because I ran into your car. I'm sorry.
Right, and it's like, are you?
And now they're looking at their phone. Or they're like, what's for dinner? Did you cook? Because I'm hungry. I had a long day.
Yeah. And
Just
they
saying.
just navigate.
Yeah, that's just like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which leads into the entitlement, man. They're entitled for that dinner.
Oh, yeah. They think the world owes them something.
Yeah.
And the world owes them nothing. The world doesn't owe any of us anything, honestly. And yeah.
I think so. It's crazy how they feel like they deserve all of these things, but this is really part of their supply, right? They deserve that supply. You need to give me praise because I am entitled to it.
Oh,
yeah.
I worked hard for this, so blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Did you, though? Did you really work hard for that, or did someone hand that to you?
Yeah.
That's my question.
You know, it's interesting because not all of these things will pop up, obviously, in the first couple of interactions at that bar, that fictional bar that we're talking about, which makes this super, super difficult to do as far as keeping yourself safe from that narcissist. It's like the grandiosity, this can come out though,
Yeah.
right? It would be difficult, unless you crafted a question about empathy, like, what's your childhood look like? What's your life look like? Mm-hmm. You ask something like that. What's your insides look like? Right.
My insides?
Not physically. Right. Yeah, not like that. No. What do you look like inside as opposed to external?
Yes,
right. So because
what's the soul like?
Yeah, because they have this grandiosity thing. Sometimes they prim this as very pretty, right? Very nice.
It can be.
Can be. And, well, yeah, for certain...
Can be, doesn't have to be.
For certain types of narcissists, yeah, that's true. But the grandiosity is that, I am so much better than you. I am so much better than everybody. You are so lucky to know me.
Right.
I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Man,
I would have to agree with that, though.
I think so, too. Because I'm a narcissist. No.
Okay. No.
I'm not, right. If somebody comes up to you and says that they're either in the game or or they're not. But I had a client tell me one time that it was the first interview. It was an intake, and they told me that they had to slow it down for people. And I'm like, what do you mean by slow it down for people? It's like, I'm just smarter than everybody else, and I have to slow it down. And I'm like, okay.
That's so hard. I know.
That must be difficult for you.
For you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't have to do that.
I understand. No. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, narcissist.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, if say something like that, there's the red flag. That's not Superman flying in there.
And you've got more years of experience doing intakes, things like that, working with clients than I do. So I bet it's really easy for you to recognize those things now. What do you think?
If they say something obvious like that, yeah, I'm going to see that.
Right.
So here's the thing. Like you said, I'm an intern. And I'm just going through this. I'm a student, and in those experiences, I do apply my years, my wisdom, if you will. But I'll be honest, I am really good at coming into a room and knowing who is who. I'm really good at it. It's a defense mechanism for me. That's
what I've
honed for
noticed
years.
about you as well.
And
you sit back and observe.
Right. Well, so all right, I'm going to tell two stories. So, and I've been swept up into narcissists. And I'm saying to you that I am super good at reading the room, and I missed them twice. Not all of them, but I missed two. Here's the other thing.
That happens.
Yeah. So this idea about I'm the smartest person in the room. So a friend of mine and I were having a conversation over beer one time, or dinner or something. And he was like, how do you know I'm not a narcissist? I said, well, John, this is how I know. You and I walk into a room and we're going to sit there and observe. We're going to come out and say a couple of things, maybe. We're going to say, oh yeah, I was the smartest guy in that room. Or, oh, those guys over there, they know what they're talking about. I'm going to go and talk. I'm going to talk to those guys.
Right, because you want to know what they know.
Right,
yeah.
Right. A narcissist is going to walk into that same room and say, I'm the smartest guy. Look at me. Here I am. Listen to what I have to say.
Right.
They're going to say it, put it on a sign, billboard. It's going to go across their forehead. I'm the smartest guy, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference between.
They'll think that.
Yeah. And
they
they
don't wanna
believe
hear-
that.
And they don't want to hear what anyone else has to say or what someone else could teach them.
Right.
If they would just humble themselves enough to listen.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see that flag, bounce. Get out of that bar. Check, please. Just saying.
Yeah, run before it's too late.
Right, right. They're super arrogant. I mean, it goes along with that entitlement and that grandiosity.
Yeah.
They're the guys that are usually talking down about everybody else. If you ask them one of those questions, that story of you and all their exes are crazy. All their exes were
yeah,
drunk.
if all their exes are just crazy and the worst, like maybe ask yourself what the common denominator is. Because, yeah, if that's what they're saying and they don't have good relationships with people in the past, then that means they might not know how to create those relationships.
There's obviously a common denominator. It's you.
It's the narcissist. Oh, would you look at that?
Bounce! Dude, get out fast because he's right there. He's right there.
But, okay, speaking of, like, things that they will say to you, that's like a red flag. For me, as a woman in this world, I was on a flight recently and this guy sits down next to me and goes, oh, I'm an alpha male. I'm an alpha male. And I'm like, okay. And I had a conversation with him and the flight was fine, but immediately I was like, okay. Because usually if someone is an alpha male or whatever you want to call it, they don't have to say that.
Right.
They just enter the room and they are what they are and they are there.
Yeah.
They don't have to say those things.
That's absolutely true. If you're an alpha male, if you're truly an alpha male, and I'm really not comfortable
Use the term
saying this
alpha
term.
male lightly.
Please don't. But
Well,
let's
I'm saying
pretend that you are.
for right now,
Right.
in this conversation.
You walk into the room, everybody knows. As everybody knows.
There's no
You don't
question.
have to say it. You don't have to put it on your forehead.
No.
You don't need a Post-it note stuck to your cheek.
And honestly, like, okay, so I'm bisexual, so I'm attracted to men and women. If I'm going to go for a male, it's going to be the one that's sitting over there quiet, not saying anything. Because, yeah, I want to know what he's thinking. And then I want to know what's going on. And, yeah, I want to know who he is.
Chances are pretty good. So that's a good suggestion, actually. If you're interested in not picking up a narcissist at the fictional bar where
Just
all
be
that.
quiet. See what happens.
Right. Or look for the dude that's by himself doing nothing. The only thing you have to worry about then is the covert narcissist, because those guys will do that too.
I'm not one of those.
I
I know one of those.
That's a different topic for another day. But yeah, I mean, but that's pretty decent advice. At least it'll keep you away from the malignant ones. Those
Yeah, the ones that are just very grandiose and all up in your face.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But that's true, man. If you're the smartest person in the room, if you got all this stuff, the people that have those things don't talk about them, right?
Right. And I just noticed your shirt, by the way. I love that.
Of course.
Make love, not money,
That's right.
not war.
Yeah,
Just peace.
if we concentrated on loving people, it would be a lot better.
A lot better.
I'm just saying. Anyway, but we digress. So Maggie, what else do you think is a good idea to keep us safe from the narcissists?
To keep you safe, I don't know. I've fallen victim to two myself, and I would just say observe people. observe them, get to know them over longer periods of time, because I once dated someone for a whole year because I thought that they were someone they weren't. And
Right.
that's how that worked out for me. So I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but just really get to know people before you give them your all and before you let them enter your life and take it over, because a narcissist will quickly take over your entire life and make it theirs.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So when you're sitting there at the bar and you're thinking, hey, this person is awesome. Mm-hmm. Why are they awesome? Because they like everything I like. Well, they like everything you like
Because they're
mirroring you. They mirror you. Man, they are the masters at that. They did the research. They creeped you out they didn't creep you out, but they were creeping on your Facebook. They were creeping on your social media. They know everything.
Yeah.
They talk to your friends and all that stuff.
I've had
They
someone
know.
do that to me. It was scary because he just approached me at the bar and was like, "Oh, I know you," and I'm like, "No, you don't." Like, but they follow me, so they think they know me, and it was like, okay, this is not good.
Yeah. So if you got that is, part of that love bombing process. They convince you that we're the greatest things, and really what you're doing is you're interviewing yourself. You're dating yourself. That's why it's so great in the beginning.
Because they're like a little sponge and they just take it in. But see, I wish my first narcissist would have mirrored me a little bit more, because whenever I would talk about things I like or ideas that I had, my dreams, things like that, I was crazy. It's like, oh, I don't understand that, so I'm going to call you crazy because I don't want it to make sense. Or they don't want it to make sense.
Right. Well, now you're in the devaluation stage.
They've already got you.
Right.
They don't have to, yeah.
They don't need to love bomb you anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Maggie, I sure do appreciate your time and your helpful insights as to the red flags of narcissism. And I'll see you next time.
Deal. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Bye. See you, fellow babies. That's it.